Hello friends, welcome to this video discussion on current affairs, economy and banking. So usually we discuss a lot of banking and economic terms, but once a week I have this plan of discussing things that may not relate to the world of banking directly or economy, but things that are related to current affairs, but the background. I will tell you the story behind the story. Okay, so in every week, once or twice, maybe once, at most twice, but generally once, we will discuss a bit of history, a bit of economic and banking stuff, but it will be current affairs related to current affairs, but the background story. So in this session, I plan to take you through one of the most important events, one of the most defining features of the 20th century. So what is it? We'll discuss with the first question. Let's start with the first one. What does it read like? Which country is the 30th and latest member of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization? The answers, of course, listed there. North Macedonia. The choices are also there, but I'm going to take you through what's NATO. If to understand the NATO, we need to look at we need to look at the Cold War, and if we have to understand the Cold War, we also have to look at the other side of NATO, which is I'm going to take you through this map. Okay, and this is a new thing that I've just introduced. We just got this in this particular video talk. In the videos to come, maybe we'll bring in more graphs, more maps, more pictures kind of thing. And this is the Warsaw Pact. So I'll take you through this entire story. Okay, but before this, I wanted to write a little about NATO, and then we'll discuss what was the Cold War. Okay, I'll give you notes so that you would have this something with you. And this would also relate to history, because this is history. Well, if you are preparing for other exams, there could be questions on history and everything. You would find it quite easy, quite useful actually. So let's start with NATO. 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 This is the full form of NATO. Write this: North Atlantic Treaty Organization. North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Okay, underline that. First point. Established 1949. Established 1949. Second point. Head office. Head office. Brussels. BRUSSELS. Okay, let me repeat. BRUSSELS. Brussels, comma, Belgium. It's a capital, Belgium. 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 Next. 30 members. You see in the question itself. 30 members. Next. Secretary General. Secretary General. Secretary General. Dash. Secretary General dash. Jens Stoltenberg. Jens. 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 Jens Stoltenberg. 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 Jens Stoltenberg. Jens Stoltenberg. He's a former prime minister, if I'm not wrong, Norway. You could write Norway. Norway. Leave one nice space, right? Continue. Next one. Military alliance. Military alliance. Military. So NATO को actually स्थापित क्यों किया गया था? Military alliance. military, M-I-L-I-T-A-R-Y, military alliance, A-L-L-I-A-N-C-E, military alliance. To provide, to provide security, to its members, from attacks by the Soviet Union, from attacks by the Soviet Union, S-O-V-I-E-T, Soviet Union, U-N-I-O-N, Union. I'll explain this entire thing, okay? Last one, motto, M-O-T-T-O. It's exactly not the motto, it works on the principle of, you could write, works on the principle of, P-R-I-N-C-I-P-L-E, principle of, in single inverted or double inverted commas, one for all, one, O-N-E, one for all, O-L-L, all, and all for one, Okay, see, let me repeat. This is one of those sessions. Once a week, we'll have some general discussion, some basic background around global events. Okay, friends, this will help you understand things much better. So we're not going to discuss this every week, in every session, but you know, by now you would have understood that I don't discuss these things. I discuss basically economics, a lot of business actually. But occasionally, you know, you remember, if you recall the story of potato, how it changed the world. That was one of those odd stories. That's it. I think I barely discussed anything else. So this is a very good story to be comfortable with, to be familiar with. Once you become familiar, you become comfortable. Okay. So leave one nice space, right? So before I give you notes on the Cold War, remember one thing, that the North Atlantic Treaty Organization was a major feature of the Western world's war against the USSR. There was no war, but this was what is called a Cold War. It was war of nerves. There was always tension in the air. There was no direct war between the US and the USSR, because they had bombs, nuclear bombs, and it would be what is called MAD, mutually assured destruction. So nuclear war is always mad. Yeah. So let's look at now, leave one nice space, right? Cold War. C-O-L-D, cold space war, W-A-R, war, Cold War. Right. Underline that, first point. Refers to a serious ideological, ID, as you should, I'll write. It makes me comfortable. ideological, ideological. It refers to serious ideological, political, P-O-L-I-T-I-C-A-L, political, and military conflicts is a better word. Serious ideological, political, and military conflict between the communist, C-O-M-M-U-N-I-S-T, communist bloc, B-L-O-C, bloc, is called bloc. Remember, B-L-O-C, bloc, with this just four letters without the, with the C in the end, means a grouping. Bloc means a grouping. Okay. So just building a block होता वो नहीं, that is BLOCK. OB color spelling here, but anyway, this is BLOC. So within the communist bloc, led by the USSR, you could write Soviet Union, by the Soviet Union, and the democratic world, led by the United States. Next, most democratic nations, especially in the Western world, or you could write especially in Western Europe and North America. Were part of or were allies of the US. You could write were part of the democratic world. Or simply when you say part of the US led forces. So एक तरफ US था. Okay, there was US on one side, democracy, elections, freedoms and all that. On the other side was the USSR, Union of, if you don't know the full form of USSR, very simple, Union of, right, Union, UNION, Union of Soviet, SOVIET, Soviet Socialist, 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 Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Okay, now guys, the communist world was led by the USSR. Okay, and you should know that they carved the world between them, though not differently. That is, on one side you had the US, the other side there was the USSR. But remember, the world wasn't divided into two blocks. It was divided into more or less three blocks. Okay, one was the democratic world led by the USA. The second was the communist world led by the USSR. Democracy and communism are anti each other. Communism talks of only one party state, and we discussed this in the past. We took the example of China. So there is only one political party, no elections are held, no freedoms are given to people. The opposite happens in the democratic setup. Now, if you look at the third block, which was where countries aligned neither with the US nor with the USSR. Countries said, no, we don't want to be, a part of your war. You are fighting among yourselves. We have nothing to do with you. So what we plan to do is to have our own grouping. So countries like India, led by India. India was the foremost part. The moral authority was there. So India in 1950s started what is called the non-aligned movement. So the process started in 55 in Indonesia. 61 is when it started. The main organization came about, NAM, non-aligned movement, NAM. But remember, there were countries which were neither a part of the NAM, nor a part of the Soviet Union-led communist world, nor a part of the democratic world. There were very few, very, very few. But the biggest grouping was NAM. The funny thing is, it was the biggest grouping where countries were aligned neither with the USA or not with the USSR. So let's continue this and let's take this forward. I want you to understand this in a very big way, in a very good way and a big way, because today there is a talk of the Cold War again. Though there was no USSR and it is believed that the Cold War ended with the death of Soviet Union in 1991, now China is coming in as big a way as the Soviet Union was, was once was. So let us see whether China can replace the USSR. It's unlikely, but let's see. Let's get on with the work. Next point. The Cold War was more a war of nerves. NERVES, nerves. War of nerves. In brackets, as opposed to a hot war, opposed to a hot war involving real fighting, and you still don't know what is in the war of nerves. जब आदमी को टेंशन होता है तो नसें फट जाती है, नसें बड़ी होती है, the blood flows, nerves swell. So it was more a war of nerves. It was all in the mind rather than in the real front. During this entire, see, the Cold War, next part, right? Cold War lasted between 1945 and 1991. In brackets, the year Soviet Union collapse, the year of Soviet Union's collapse, the year of Soviet Union's disintegration, collapse. You could write whatever you want to write. Collapse. Next. Right, next point. In 1945, how did the Cold War start? Right. In 1945, USSR, I will not use the grammar, the USSR, you want to write, you can write. USSR invaded, invaded Eastern Europe, in brackets, Poland, P-O-L-A-N-D, Poland, Bulgaria, B-U-L, I repeat, B-U-L-G-A-R-I-A, Bulgaria, Romania, R-O-M-A-N-I-A, Romania. Yeah, एक और देश लिखना, you could write one more. Hungary, H-U-N-G-A-R-Y, Hungary, and probably the most important one here, Czechoslovakia. Very difficult to spell, right? C-Z-E-C-H-O-S-L-O-V-A-K-I-A, Czechoslovakia. Let me spell it again. C-Z-H-O-S-L-O-V-A-K-I-A, Czechoslovakia. So ऐसे वैसे आठ देश थे वैसे तो, but you write close the brackets, and installed. So in 1945, Soviet Union invaded Eastern Europe, in brackets we wrote these 5 countries, and installed puppet, P-U-P-P-E-T, puppet, P-U-P-P-E-T, puppet, in brackets if you want to write Katputli, okay, puppet regimes, puppet leaders. So Soviet Union came, okay, it invaded these countries, occupied them, and before before anyone could sense, they put in charge those guys who would listen to Moscow, who would listen to the USSR. Please know this. This says how the Soviet Union did things around the world. It would come, invade, replace the guy in charge with their own guy. Because their own guy would listen to them, isn't it? Yes. So, next. Next. In 1949, NATO was started. NATO was started to counter counter the expansion of Soviet Union apostrophe S, Soviet Unions. See, I'll use some technical words, okay, but you can understand them easily. Soviet Union's sphere of influence, sphere, S-P-H-E-R-E, sphere of influence, I-N-F-L-U-E-N-C-E, influence. The word sphere, the P is pronounced with an F, so it's sphere. How do you say it? Sphere, not spear. Sphere, sphere of influence. Okay, full stop. Continue, same sentence. In this context, the US started a policy of containment, C-O-N-T-A-I-N-M-E-N-T, containment, policy of containment. For me to help you understand the word containment, you just have to look at the lockdown. In those hotspots where there are a lot of cases of coronavirus, the government has imposed, has sealed that area off and turned that into a containment zone. Means it won't spread. The virus won't spread. The disease wouldn't spread. So it would be contained in that area only. So the idea of NATO was to arm the member states with the most sophisticated weapons, and they were protected against Soviet expansion. So Soviet expansion was limited to Eastern Europe. Look at this, Eastern Europe. This is Eastern Europe. So this is Soviet Union. ये जो आप ये boundary देख रहे हैं यहाँ पे, this is the Soviet Union. ये पूरा green Soviet Union, friends. Okay. So if you look at this is Poland. This is East Germany. Okay. This is Poland. East Germany. This is Czechoslovakia. This is Hungary. This big one is Romania. This is Bulgaria. What is this? Bulgaria. और एक जमाने में एक देश होता था यहाँ पे यूगोस्लाविया. अभी तो नहीं है यूगोस्लाविया. It all broke up and formed separate countries. This was one of the leading members of the non-aligned movement, Yugoslavia. ये देखिए यहाँ पे West Germany. This one. ये East Germany, ये West Germany. Okay. This was democratic. ये पूरा France, ये पूरा, this entire thing was democratic. Okay. So more or less you could say the Yugoslavian nation was a buffer zone between the West and the East. So Soviet Union came, invaded all these and put in place their leaders. And they destroyed. The communist countries here destroyed all kinds of freedoms that people had. They took away all the freedoms. They put in jail thousands, lakhs, millions of people, for opposing the government or whom these leaders believed were enemies. That's it. Okay, that's it. Nothing else. So, और जो भी Soviet Union was this country, large country. Whoever opposed this, guys, in Moscow. This is Moscow here. Okay, there is Moscow here. And whoever opposed these guys was sent to this place. ये आप देखिए यहाँ पे, this is Siberia. Okay, one of the coldest places on earth. Here they would set up prison camps and they would be taken here, all these places. Millions of people were killed, my friends. Joseph Stalin was a leader of USSR between 1923 and 53, and in 30 years he is said to have killed nearly 3 crore people. That's the lower estimate. Okay, yes. काफ़ी खराब थे हालत. जैसे इस मैप में आप देखेंगे भारत का ये जो पाकिस्तान ऑक्यूपाइड कश्मीर है, इज़ अ पार्ट ऑफ कश्मीर, इज़ अ पार्ट ऑफ व्हाट वी से shown as part of Pakistan. See, this is a Wikipedia map and we have no control over such things. Okay, but for all practical purposes, this is not the true map. Very simple. POK is ours, as simple as that. So in any case, see, I could have cut this, but I wanted to show you how relative, this is India is. This is Afghanistan. Okay, year of Vietnam. यहाँ पे Vietnam, ये देखिए Vietnam, ये यहाँ पे. Okay, this is Vietnam. In any case, guys, I just wanted you to become familiar with this. And last couple of points, right? To counter NATO, the USSR started the Warsaw Pact. ये देखिए Warsaw Pact, WARSAW, Warsaw Pact dash named after the capital of Poland. पोलैंड की राजधानी वॉर्सो, यहाँ पे साइन हुआ था इस एग्रीमेंट को. Warsaw Pact named after the capital of Poland dash in 1955. So this was signed in 1955. 6 years after NATO was started, Warsaw Pact was started. Underlying Warsaw Pact, pull it down arrow right, 8 members. आपको बता दूं मैं यहाँ पे 8 members आप देखिए, this is Soviet Union 1, 2 was Poland, 3 was East German, 4 was Czechoslovakia, 5 was Hungary, 6 was Romania, 7 was Bulgaria, 8 ये देखिए यहाँ पे ये जो छोटा देश है ग्रीन लाइट ग्रीन में, ये है Albania. What is it? Albania. Albania was a communist country and today it's a Muslim country. Yeah, communism goes against Islam, but then that's how ideology mattered in those days. So last one, maybe 2 more points. The US and the USSR, sometimes I use grammar, never faced each other in a direct confrontation. Next point, they always fought proxy wars, PROXY, proxy wars dash the Korean War, proxy war dash Korean War in brackets 1950 to 53. 1950 to 53 ये रहा कोरिया, ये देखिए आप, ये है कोरियन पेनिनसुला, ये नॉर्थ कोरिया, साउथ कोरिया is here, South Korea is south of North Korea. Yes it is. So I mean, North Korea is in news for all the wrong reasons now. This is the war that happened. I mean, there is a massive war here. Then you write comma, Vietnam War. यहाँ पे देखिए ये जो देश है, यहाँ पे ये छोटा सा देश है, Vietnam War in brackets 1955 to 74. 1955 to 74. Oh, I love history. I really love history. I love sharing all this stuff. But of course, I don't teach this stuff to you. It's just I'm bringing a story to you. And Afghan War, ये रहा Afghanistan. ये देखिए, ये Afghanistan. This is Afghanistan on the border with Soviet Union. Afghan War in brackets 1979 to 89. 79 to 89. Rambo film देखिए आपने, Rambo 3, ये तो यहीं पे, this is where it was shot, Rambo 3. Rambo 1 was shot here. I mean, the story is Vietnam. Vietnam के बारे में काफ़ी अच्छी फिल्में हैं. Apocalypse Now, there is Platoon, there is Full Metal Jacket, terrific film. You would thoroughly enjoy the film. So watch films, good films. Okay, seriously, last 2 points. I know there's, right. Most important weapons used in the Cold War, were espionage, espionage, espionage. In bracket, jasusi, spying, 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 the science of spying. टेक्निकल भाषा में एस्पियोनाज कहते हैं, जासूसी, एस्पियोनाज एंड डिफेंस टेक्नोलॉजी. If you watch James Bond films, all the James Bond films before 95, you would find these stories. पुरानी जो भी जेम्स बॉन्ड फिल्म मिलेगी आपको, पूरा आपको कोल्ड वॉर के बारे में मिलेगी. यूएसएसआर, इसने चोरी किया न्यूक्लियर बॉम्ब, उसने ये किया. Some terrorists get hold of nuclear bomb, and that's what they wanted. They want to bomb the US. All those stories basically. Okay, so last one. In 1991, the Cold War ended. The Cold War ended with the collapse of COLLAPSE, or disintegration of the Soviet Union. See, for all that people might say that China is going to run the world, all those wars are forwards where they say that China has won the Third World War without firing a bullet. It's all fake. It's just not true. China is growing. It's growing very fast, but not in the way that people understand, or people love to believe a lot of things, but it is not. See, I teach this subject, so it's a long way off. See, it's a country that no one trusts. And forget about we trusting China. Does it trust its own people? No. When, how can it make the world trust it when it does not trust its own people? So forget about it. Okay, the country lacks moral authority. So that's a little about the Soviet Union, and of course this Warsaw Pact. I just want to show you this. This is Canada. आप ये देखिए, पूरा Canada है ये. Okay, very large country, 99 lakh square kilometers. This is the second largest country in the world by area. This is Alaska. This was part of the USSR, Russian Empire, and I think in 1859 this was sold by the Russians to America just for about $5 million or something. ये पूरा जो ये है Alaska. Okay, this is the US, United States. यहाँ पे एक island है, Hawaii Island, यहाँ पे छोटा सा. और ये देखिए, this is Greenland, the largest island in the world. Okay, Greenland. This is the country of Iceland, छोटा सा देश है, but this country's area is expanding. You know why? Because of volcanic eruptions. When volcanoes erupt, the magma, flows down, and when it encounters the sea, it solidifies. It cools down, solidifies. So the land area is expanding, but not in a very big way. Yeah, very big. That's it. ये आप देखिए, ये पूरा आर्कटिक सर्कल है यहाँ पे. But this is Norway. This is the big country of Norway, my friend. This is Sweden. This is Finland. This is Britain. Okay, Portugal, Spain, France, Italy. Okay, this is the United Germany now. This is Belgium, Netherlands. This is Denmark. एक छोटा देश है Denmark यहाँ पे. This is Poland. एक जमाने में देखिए, these are all Warsaw countries. Now they are all part of the NATO, because they are all afraid of यहाँ पे देखिए, ये जो है Russia, they are all afraid of Russia. So this is of course we discussed this is Ukraine, and this is Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia. ये छोटे छोटे देश हैं, काफी छोटे देश हैं. This is Turkey, my friends. This is Turkey, the westernmost country in West Asia. I just wanted you to make it easy for you so that you understand, because otherwise things become, मैं देश के बारे में बोलता हूँ कि भाई यहाँ पे देश है, वहाँ पे युद्ध हुआ था, and the Soviet Union shared a long boundary with Eastern Europe. You wouldn't know where is Eastern Europe if you are not greatly familiar with mapping. Okay. One last thing, this is Mediterranean Sea. What is this? Mediterranean Sea. Okay. This Mediterranean Sea, my friends, is you should know that the Greeks believed that this was Earth. ये part जो है यही Earth है. उनको they had no idea of this. The Europeans believed that there was nothing like this part. So they believed that the Earth was flat. More or less, a lot of the Europeans believed that the Earth was flat because of the biblical idea that the Earth is flat. Okay, and they believed that this sea here was in the middle of the Earth. This दोनों के बीच में. Okay, middle. Medi is middle. Terra is land. EAN is a Greek suffix for what we say water body. So the water body in the middle of the earth, or water body in between two land bodies, is Mediterranean Sea. So ladies and gentlemen, that's a little about this. I just wanted to share with you a few ideas about the Cold War. So today the USSR has been replaced by, most people say, China, but I think we are a long way off. I'm not a great believer in these ideas. So anyway, let's see where we go from here. Okay. Maybe I'll come back to one of these maps to bring you, if कोई देश ऐसा आता है जिसके बारे में बात कर सकते हैं, आपको दिखा सकता हूँ कि कहाँ पे है, तो मैं आपको एक मैप वापस लेके आता हूँ. Most of these questions on economics in this case we have already discussed, so easy to understand. Which of the following are included in the weaker sections under the practice sector lending? And we took elaborate notes on practice sector lending. I think about 3 sections back we took this notes. Distressed farmers indebted to non-institutional lenders. Non-institutional lenders would be village money lenders, typically village money lenders. Then self-help groups, yes. Persons with disabilities, yes. Beneficiaries of differential rate of interest, yes. Differential rate of interest is where the rates of interest are slightly lower, especially for people who are vulnerable, who belong to marginalized sections of the society. Okay. So practice sector lending would be all the above, my friends, all of the above. Okay. To which of the following countries can funds be transferred from India through the National Electronic Funds Transfer? Nepal, only one country in this case. So National Electronic Funds Transfer is NEFT, my friends, NEFT. I think we know about all these countries, don't we? Bhutan आप लिख सकते हैं एक, just one Bhutan will write this, right? Bhutan dash capital is Thimphu, THIMPU, Thimphu. Prime Minister, what's the name of the Prime Minister? Lotte Shering, L-O-T-A-Y, Lotte Shering, T-S-H-E-R-I-N-G, Lotte Shering, L-O-T-A-Y, Lotte Shering, T-S-H-E-R-I-N-G, Lotte Shering. It's a constitutional monarchy, so there is a king also. King का नाम लिखेंगे आप? Right, dash king, right, king Jigme, J-I-G-M-E, Jigme Khesar, K-H-E-S-A-R, Jigme Khesar Namgyal, N-A-M-G-Y-E-L, Namgyal Wangchuk, W-A-N-G-C-H-U-K, Wangchuk. So Jigme Khesar Namgyal Wangchuk. एक और नाम है इसके बीच में, Sigme, that's okay. Jigme Singye Khesar Namgyal Wangchuk. ये यहाँ के राजा हैं. Okay. Highly educated man, very, very down to earth. And earlier it was an absolute democracy, absolute monarchy. Now he brought in democracy. He said people should take care of themselves. I mean, they should have freedom to take care of their own future. So he brought in what he called constitutional monarchy. He is more or less the head of the state. The Prime Minister is the head of the government. And what's the currency? Gultrum. Ngultrum. Gultrum. Next. What type of interest is offered by the Union government on gilt-edged securities? Gilt-edged means gold-edged. Gilt means gold. Gold-edged securities. एक जमाने में gilt-edged means certificate के ऊपर, government bond के ऊपर, यहाँ पे कोने पे they used to write gilt-edged. That was an identity that it was government issue. It was government issue. So the monarchs issue in those days. So this is यहाँ पे four sides gilt-edged होता था. Okay, कोने पे. So gilt means सोना. So they used to give, of course, it's always fixed interest rate. Always fixed interest rate. Now there is this debate about what is good for a home loan, a fixed or a floating interest rate. See, both have advantages, disadvantages, but the problem with floating is that sometimes interest rates crash. Interest rates crash. Like now they have crashed. The rates on loans have decreased drastically. Yeah, to stimulate the economy, the government of India has decreased. The RBI and the government of India have come together to decrease the interest rates on loans. So they want people to buy homes, they want people to buy cars, they want people to buy consumer durables, and people will be incentivized to buy only if the interest rates are low. So they have cut interest rates. And if in the past I had taken a home loan at, let's say, 9% interest rate fixed, and today the floating interest rate is 8%, then there's an issue. But it's a rare thing that interest rates go beyond some numbers basically. So it generally makes to take a floating interest rate. But unless, of course, everyone should take do their homework. But there are, as I said, advantages and disadvantages. Which of the following options are true with respect to credit risk management by Indian banks? One is risk management measurement through credit rating. Yes. Okay, we'll do one thing in the next session or sometime this week. I'm going to discuss credit rating. I'm going to give you some notes on credit rating. Number 2, quantifying risk through estimating loan losses. Yes. This is how they manage risk. When they lend money, how do they manage the risk of getting that money back basically? So risk pricing on scientific basis, of course. Controlling risk through effective loan review mechanism and portfolio management. Often they do a check, recheck, and where's the money coming from? Is the money not coming in? Why is it not coming in? So that process of constant checking is always on basically. So the credit risk management in India to a large extent by public sector banks has improved a lot in the last few years. At least in the last 3 years things have changed drastically. The NPAs, non-performing assets, also are reducing. See, there was a sudden spike in NPAs in 2015 because in 2014, and remember one thing, whenever I discuss these things, I am not a political guy. Okay, I am a teacher, I am your teacher. I am just not a political guy, and I will tell you facts. You could look this up on the net, no harm. Okay, on the internet, and the internet is the pop of all kinds of information, fake as well as real information. So I am not really concerned whether what you are going to find, but you should look up books. Okay, you should check more than one source. Check more than one source. So in that case, my friends, you should look up. If you look up source RBI books or bank books, you will find that in 2015 there was a sudden spike in NPAs. Because till 2014 a lot of banks would not show bad loans as bad loans. Okay, but in 2015 the government of India came out with a strict directive that you have to quantify the total NPAs, and lest you do it, we will not allow you to function in the we will hold you accountable. So they began to pull out all the books and then they began to, and there was a sudden spike. See, as long as if I am a banker, if I don't show an NPA, it's good, it shows good on my record that I have managed things well. But once, there is the fear of punishment that I could be held accountable for someone else's wrongs. मेरे पहले जो मिनिस्टर मेरे पहले जो ऑफिसर थे उन्होंने कोई लोन दिया या favoritism, whatever, the money didn't come back. If I am going to be held responsible for that, then it's not good. So people began to report. People began to report, and there was a massive spike. For almost 3 years, the bank struggled to contain to report NPS. And only now, since the insolvency and the bankruptcy code had come about, IBC, things have changed. Now the NPS are coming down also. I think from 11 lakh crore rupees, they have come down to 7.5 lakh crore rupees, which is good for everyone basically. So credit risk management is improving slowly, but it's improving. So all the above in this case, which of the following is not a part of the Ministry of Finance, Government of India? Hey, all of them are parts, Investment Ministry, Revenue Ministry, Expenditure Departments, Economic Affairs. If you go to Ministry of Finance website, you will find all these things. You will find all these departments. Click on departments, you will find this. So plenty of information they provide, man. Plenty of information. You just have to scroll the web and you will find a lot of good stuff basically. A venture capital fund, it's a very simple one. These days we often hear this now. This startup has got so much money, they have raised so much money from so and so, the valuation has gone up and all that. So what are these small companies we are talking about? These are small, very small companies, sometimes slightly large companies, which the investors believe, will grow faster, so that if we put money tomorrow, as the business prospers, the business grows, we'll earn more return on whatever we invest. So venture means project, remember that. Venture means project. So these venture capital funds, they provide capital for projects. That's it, nothing else. Venture is project. Okay. So small startup companies with excellent growth prospects. See, we often hear about companies like Paytm. देखिए Paytm का valuation कितना है, SoftBank ने invest किया है, Alipay ने invest किया है, and financially invest किया है. But you need to understand one thing. See, for every one Paytm, there are a lot of other companies that don't do well. Okay, people don't hear the failures. We don't read about the failures. We often read only about the success stories. If you look at, there is a company called MobiKwik. एक जमाने में MobiKwik was very large. MobiKwik. Now no one talks about MobiKwik. People talk only of Paytm. Things fall by the wayside if they don't adapt, don't tune themselves to changing conditions. See, same things will happen to you and me if we don't learn. If we don't learn, we don't upgrade our skill, we won't go far in life. So we need to be learning all the time, my friends. We need to be learning all the time about the Cold War, about Vietnam, about Indian economy, about how to give a better answer in the interview. All those things, everything got to be learning. And it's okay to make mistakes. It's absolutely okay. But every time we make a mistake, we should be learning from that mistake. So why things happen like that? What went wrong? Why did it go wrong? Was it lack of practice or lack of knowledge? Was it lack of knowledge? Let's read, let's put in practice, let's learn more. Was it lack of practice? Let's practice. This is how things work, my friends. Okay, so read a little, my dear, every single day. See, there are 3-4 questions in this session, which I have plans of discussing elaborately in the coming sessions. Because each session I pick only one story. As you know, I pick only one story. But whenever I have promised that, I will discuss this, I will discuss. I remember balloon payment, I remember that, okay. I remember balloon payment, I remember fiscal deficit. Most likely this Saturday, there will be a session on fiscal deficit. There won't be any questions like this, no video session on this. I will take a session only on fiscal deficit. It could be an hour talk, 1 hour talk, or maybe 1.5 hour talk. But it will be very tight. See, a class 2 घंटे की होती है, वो अलग होती है. In a class, there is a two-way interaction. I talk with you, you come up with ideas. I take time out, I give you an issue, you solve it on your own. No. Here there won't be. So I can't give you time to solve questions and everything. So 1 hour is equal to 3 hours. Technically, this 1 hour is equal to 3 hours because I keep on talking, isn't it? So, this weekend, this Saturday, we will discuss fiscal deficit. FISCAL, fiscal deficit, all about it. क्या होता है fiscal deficit? कहाँ से आता है? क्यों आता है? What are the negative consequences of it? Wow, what about India? I'll put all the data for you. Okay, guys? I'm sure you will thoroughly enjoy it because I really enjoy discussing such stuff. Okay, because see, sometimes what happens is when I find a good question like this, currency value is affected by everything, all of them. See, currency value is affected by interest rates. Okay, government debt, inflation rates, political stability. Now, this is a part of fiscal deficit. Some of it is part of fiscal deficit. I'll discuss this. Anyway, I'll discuss this, my friends. Okay, so do not worry, everything will be taken care of by time. We will ensure that you are well prepared, my friends. Have any questions? Leave the feedback. We'll take care of that as well. Okay, so in this case, of course, everything. See, if currency value will decrease, if interest rate, inflation rate is very high, isn't it? And currency value will decrease a great deal if political stability is very high. Okay, and you know, in the classes to come, I'll talk about government debt, interest rates a lot. I think we discussed this question. Who is the new chairman of the Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority? Supratim Bandyopadhyay. Yes, Supratim Bandyopadhyay. This is the organization that regulates the pension sector in India. Pension sector in India, NPS, National Pension System, and everything. These are all come under this. एक काम करते हैं. Let's write about 1 or 2 or 1 and 5. Who is this CVR Rajendran? You could write CEO of Catholic Syrian Bank. Catholic CATHOLIC. Catholic Syrian 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 Bank. Catholic Syrian Bank. Catholic Syrian Bank. Underline Catholic Syrian Bank. Pull it down arrow. Right. Head office dash Trishur. THRISSUR. Trishur. THRISSUR. Trishur. Comma Kerala. Choice 5. Muhammad Mustafa. Chairman of Small Industries Development Bank of India. Small Industries Development Bank of India. Small Industries Development Bank of India. Okay. You don't need to know about Surina Rajan, who is the chairperson of Bureau of Indian Standards. They won't ask you this. Which of the following institutions has been ranked first in the Nature Ranking Index? As a Nature Ranking Index, क्या होता है आप देखिए. Right. Nature Ranking Index dash based on BASCD, based on research output of institutions, research output of institutions. So, talking about research papers, citations, all that stuff. So, which is the best one? CSIR, you could write that. Council for Scientific and Industrial Research. Council for scientific and industrial research. Council for Scientific and Industrial Research. Next, rank 2, 8. जो 5, 4, 3 है, these are the from the bottom 1 to 3. Okay. So CSIR is 1. Rank 2 is Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru. Rank 2, IISc Bangalore. Rank 3, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, Mumbai. So 1 to 3. Okay. 1 is CSIR, 2 is, in terms of research output. Next. You know the full form of IIScr? Indian Institute of, I repeat, so first one, that IIScr, Indian Institute of Science Education, Science, SICENCE, SCIENCE, Science, Education and Research. Oh, they have 7 bodies, I think. Bhopal, it's there in Trivandrum, it's there in Pune. Yeah. Next. Indian Railways has launched its first restaurant on wheels at Asansol railway station in which state for use by passengers as well as by the general public. Oh, West Bengal. Asansol is in West Bengal. Asansol is in West Bengal. Do you know which is the smallest, which is the longest platform? In childhood, we learned that it was Kharagpur. I think it's Gorakhpur, if I'm not wrong. The longest platform is at Gorakhpur, if I'm not wrong. And the longest station name is Madras Central's new name after, it's been renamed after the former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, M.G. Ramachandran. So, it's Tamil full name, so I really don't know. I can't pronounce it, so I won't go there. M.G. Ramachandran. Madras Central's new name is basically after M.G. Ramachandran, the former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. It is the longest station name in India. Longest station name. Or do you know the other, before this it was Sri Venkata Narasimha Rajuvari Peta. Sri Venkata Narasimha Rajuvari Peta. It's in Andhra Pradesh. I could pronounce this because though I am not Telugu, I am from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana. The smallest station name? IB. IB. You know where is it? Odisha. Odisha. The place name is IB in Odisha. Who are the chief ministers? You know all this, yeah? So let's not repeat here. Which of the following is entity is responsible for announcing the foreign trade policy in India? Of course, it's mentioned there. Who is the Minister of Commerce and Industry? Piyush Goyal. You could write this. Piyush Goyal. P-I-Y-U-S-H. Piyush Goyal. G-O-Y-A-L. Piyush Goyal. I think he finished second in the All India Chartered Accountancy exam. All India second rank. And he was also the topper in law, basically. And Exim Bank, you could write Exim Bank. Export Import Bank. Export Import Bank. The MD, Managing Director is, or Chairman, right? Chairman is David, D-A-V-I-D, David Raskina, R-A-S-Q-U-I-N-H-A. I repeat, R-A-S-Q-U-I-N-H-A. David Raskina. So Exim Bank Chairman David Raskina. Who is the Minister of External Affairs? S. Jaishankar. S. Jaishankar. India's Foreign Affairs Minister is S. Jaishankar. His father, Subramaniam, K. Subramaniam, was one of the finest foreign policy analysts India has produced. Okay, so S. Jaishankar, Ministry of Finance, of course, Nirmala Sitharaman. She is the Minister for Finance. Nirmala Sitharaman. We are going to discuss this. Deficit financing with the government of India is done through borrowing from internal sources, printing new currency, and external sources. Choice 4, all of the above. So the one on Saturday will include this. In fact, it is about this basically. Okay. Kindly be patient till Saturday. Where is the headquarters of the International Organization for Migration? International Organization for Migration is at Geneva, Switzerland. Geneva, Switzerland. There is a place near Geneva called La Saxcon. That's okay. Just write Geneva, Switzerland. Geneva, Switzerland. You want to write a little about this organization? You write this. Write this name. International Organization for Migration. International Organization for Migration. Underline that. First one. Established 1951. Established 1951. Second point. 173 members. 173 members. Third point. Provides services and advice provides services and advice on issues of migration to governments and migrants, not just governments but also migrants. Last one was Secretary General, right? Chief Antonio, A-N-T-O-N-I-O, Antonio, A-N-T-O-N-I-O, Antonio Vittorio, right? V-I-T-O-R-I-N-O, Vittorino, Antonio Vittorino, in brackets, Portugal, P-O-R-T-U-G-A-L, Portugal. मैंने एक जगह में सुना था इनका नाम is pronounced what's say Vittorio. The N is silent, but you could say it's a proper noun, whatever you want to say. Antonio Vittorino. Okay, so that's it. That's a little about the IOM. What organization would you find in Vienna, Austria? What would you find? You would find the International Atomic Energy Agency. In choice 1, Vienna, Austria, dash, International Atomic Energy Agency. International Atomic Energy Agency. Dash, chief is Rafael Grossi, R-A-F-A-E-L, Rafael Grossi, G-R-O-S-S-I, Grossi, Argentina, he's from Argentina, A-R-G-E-N-T-I-N-A, Argentina. ठीक है, यहाँ से चलते हैं. I just pick one choice. You are Paris, UNESCO and everything. We discuss this. So, who will be named Sportsperson of the Year at the Toys Up 2019? PV Sindhu. PV Sindhu. You know all these guys? Yes. You're familiar with this name, so let's not discuss. I just want to tell you, the Times of India is this publishing company which is owned by Bennett, Coleman and Company. What's the name? Bennett, B-E-N-N-E-T, Bennett, Coleman, C-O-L-E-M-A-N, Bennett, Coleman and Company, B-E-N-N-E-T, Bennett, Coleman, C-O-L-E-M-A-N, Coleman and Company, Bennett, Coleman and Company, dash, Chairperson, Indu Jain, Chairperson Indu Jain, dash, MD is Vinit Jain, Vinit, V-I-N-E-E-T, Vinit Jain. Okay. India is an observer at the Indian Ocean Commission in this context, which are members of the IOC. There should be 4 are mentioned here. Madagascar, Mauritius, Seychelles, Comoros. So you will do one thing. एक काम करते हैं, आप लिखिए Indian Ocean Commission. It's not a great body to remember, but just write Indian Ocean Commission. Indian Ocean Commission. Indian Ocean Commission. Okay. Underline that first point. Established. It's not required. Even not even required. Established everything. 1982 and all. You do one thing. You write intergovernmental organization. Intergovernmental organization that links 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 African Indian Ocean nations, African Indian Ocean, it's there on the screen, nations, N-A-T-I-O-N-S, nations, Indian Ocean nations. Next, head office, Port Louis, Port, P-O-R-T, Port Louis, L-O-U-I-S, Port Louis, comma, Mauritius, capital of Mauritius, choice 2, capital of Mauritius. Madagascar के बारे में बात कर चुके हैं in the past. You remember that plates we discussed? Yeah. Next, 5 countries, 5 members. Fourth यहाँ पे लिखिए all 4. Please write Madagascar, Seychelles, Mauritius, Comoros. छोटे islands हैं. Except Madagascar, all are small, very small. The 5th one, I'll tell you. Madagascar, Mauritius, Seychelles, Comoros, and Reunion Islands. Reunion, R-E-U-N-I-O-N. Reunion Islands, in brackets, owned by France. Owned by France. Owned by France. Owned by France. France. So that's it, guys. India is an observer, of course. Naypyidaw is the capital of Myanmar. It's the capital of Myanmar. So just look at this. Just write the names of the countries. I'll give the capitals. Write the countries, and I'll take you to the map to show you this. Right, Bhutan. I'm also writing. Okay, paper. Bhutan. It's a new paper. Cambodia, Vietnam, लाओस, या 5 कंट्रीज, म्यांमार। चलो मैं आपको लेके चलता हूँ। NEFT is the capital of Myanmar. Okay, where I don't want to escape and go back to the first slide. I'll just take you here. Okay, see, this is India. I am seated here in Hyderabad. Okay, ये रहा Bangladesh. This one, tiny Bangladesh, tiny compared to India. This is Bhutan. ये रहा Bhutan. Okay, this is Bhutan. ये रहा छोटा सा, ये अपना नॉर्थ ईस्ट इंडिया है। ये रहा Myanmar. This is Myanmar. Okay, pretty large country as you look at it. This is Thailand. This one up here. Okay, and ये जो देश है, this is Cambodia. This is Cambodia. Cambodia is named after, said to be named after Brahmin Prince Cambodia. ये है Vietnam. You see, this is Vietnam. Where is the cursor? Yeah, this is Vietnam. And my friends, this Vietnam here, ये जो छोटा देश है, ये बड़ा देश है काफी, ये है Laos. What is it? Laos. 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 One of the poorest countries in the world. So you want to write the capitals? So write Laos dash Vientiane. VIENTIANE. I repeat, VIENTIANE. 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 Vietnam's capital is Hanoi. 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 Bhutan, you know, Thimphu. THIMPU. Thimphu. कंबोडिया, ये रहा कंबोडिया, उसकी राजधानी है नॉम फेन। PH, slightly tough, like this. PHNOM. PHNOM. PEHN. Nom Fen. Nom Fen. Cambodia is a dictatorship. There is a guy called Hun Sen. He's been there for about what, 25 years. I have seen him for more. I think. Laos is a communist country, so is Vietnam. वियतनाम के राष्ट्रपति हिंदुस्तान आए थे कुछ महीनों पहले। विन फू टॉन्ग। विन की स्पेलिंग होती है NGUYEN, बट प्रोनाउंस विन। कैसे पता नहीं। That's how it is. So these are the countries, my friends. And just see, when you look at this, you become that much more familiar with all these things. Life becomes easy when you know where is what kind of thing. Okay, so आगे चलते हैं। इसके बाद, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I think we took all these capitals and all that. World Consumer Rights Day is observed on March 15th. March 15th. So right, March 15th. Next, April 11th, like this. April 11th dash World Parkinson's Day. Parkinson's. PAR, I repeat two letters. PARKINSON apostrophe S. Repeat करता हूँ. PARKINSON apostrophe S. Parkinson's Day. 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 Parkinson's is a disease, my friends. It's a kind of involuntary, shivering, kind of involuntary, you could say, shaking of the body. These are debilitating diseases, my friends. Unfortunately, there isn't much cure for this kind of diseases. But anyway, these are age-related complications. Sometimes it comes early, but that's a very rare case. So Parkinson's disease, see, these days are highlighted primarily to bring awareness to, among people about this disease. So April 11th, World Parkinson's Day. October 11th, International Day of the Girl Child. International Day of the Girl Child. International Day of the Girl Child. November 14th, as you know, is Children's Day in India, November 14th. August 15th is India's Independence Day and the Independence Day of two more countries, right? Independence Day of one, India, two, North Korea, three, South Korea. They got independence from Japan. And four, there is one more, four, Republic of the Congo. Some other session I'll take you to Africa because the map is very far from here, from this slide. Republic of the Congo. See, there is in the heart of Africa a very large country called the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. उसके पास में छोटा सा देश है Congo, whose capital is called Brazzaville. That's why this Congo is also called Congo Brazzaville. Okay. तो आपको अगर Google Earth पे देखेंगे, आप Google मैप पे देखेंगे, DRC की राजधानी है Kinshasa. So, very large city, but in the corner of the country. It's a very large country. Now, the Congo River passes by the city of Kinshasa. उसके उस तरफ आपको Brazzaville मिलेगा. Yes. On one side, you have the capital of Congo Brazzaville called Brazzaville, and the other side you find the city of Kinshasa, which is the capital of Democratic Republic of Congo. So I keep using all the apps like this just for fun, okay? Just to take, because there's a lockdown, you can't go anywhere, you can travel like this. I'm just kidding, but I just like to do these things. This is easy. The RBI has announced that it will regulate the activities of payment aggregators. Which of these is not a payment aggregator? All of them are. In fact, they help us pay bills. Okay, the small businesses, what these guys do is, small businesses may lose out. Sometimes एक school होती है, तो school ties up with this kind of company. Okay, let's say CC venue, and when a payment is made online, because the school might not have the technology for online payment, and all that stuff. So to have this kind of payment gateway, what these guys do is they have a payment gateway. They provide the technology. They sync their app with with this school app, and through the website. When we want to pay the school fee, we click on a particular link. We come here. They provide the technology. We fill in the details, and they take us to the payment. That's it. Payment is done, and these guys get a part of the transaction value, or sometimes just n number of transactions, so and so fee, or one fee upfront. That's it. Yeah, they all make money through commission essentially. So आजकल बहुत पैसा है, a lot of money in all these things. You have UPay, you have CC venue, RazorPay, Bill Desk. They're making a lot of good cash. But considering that there is a proliferation, massive increase in the number of these kind of payment aggregators, the RBI wants to control all this, their activities. So all five are PS, payment aggregators. P.K. Banerjee, Pradeep Kumar Banerjee, who passed away recently, was associated with football. आप जो प्रदीप कुमार बनर्जी हैं, हिंदुस्तान के सबसे बेहतरीन फुटबॉल प्लेयर थे, the best Indian football player ever. Okay, now we know Bachchan Bhutia, but before Bhutia had come on the scene, it was Pradeep Kumar Banerjee who made India a world famous name. In fact, you could write Pradeep Kumar Banerjee dash FIFA Order of Merit. FIFA. FIFA, it's a highest football body. FIFA Order of Merit. FIFA Order of Merit, within brackets, highest award of FIFA. Highest award of FIFA. And Indian player of the century, Indian footballer of the century. Indian footballer of the century. He had received Padma Shri, lots of awards. Unfortunately, India couldn't make a name despite the presence of talents like Pradeep Kumar Banerjee. but he was one of those very rare talents. And India couldn't really do well in football, friends. But you know what? In 1950, if I'm not wrong, we went to the World Cup finals in the 50s. We were Asian football champions also in the 50s. But after that, things went bad, very bad. There's a lot of political interference in football, as is the case with almost all games. You see any association, they are headed by political leaders basically. So President Kumar Banerjee recently passed away, in fact. Okay. Which company has launched DigiPivot, a skill development program for women? Google India. TCS-CEO Rajesh Gopinathan. Next, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, not Microsoft India, Microsoft Global. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, Nadella, Satya Nadella. IBM Arvind Krishna. IBM global head is an Indian, Arvind Krishna. Google global head is an Indian. Sundar Pichai, Pichai, Sundar Pichai. Facebook's head is Mark Zuckerberg, Mark Zuckerberg, 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 Mark Zuckerberg. Okay. Which former CGI has recently been nominated to the Rajya Sabha as President of India? You know this, Ranjan Gogoi. Nothing to discuss. You all know this basically. So Ranjan Gogoi, who is the current Chief Justice of India? Sharad Arvind Bobde. Sharad, S-H-A-R-A-D. Sharad Arvind, A-R-V-I-N-D. Arvind Bobde, B-O-B-D-E. Sharad Arvind Bobde. Next. The next two questions will require a lot of discussion, but in the classes to come, I will bring this anyway. Devaluation of currency is done to increase exports of goods, reduce increase imports. No, increasing imports means the foreign exchange goes up, which is not a good thing. Okay, so reducing foreign sovereign debt burdens and reducing trade deficit. So when I discuss fiscal deficit, I'll bring in the devaluation, how it impacts trade, how fiscal deficit impacts trade. I'll bring that idea. I'll give you notes on that particular point. Okay. So choice 3, A, C, D, increases exports, reduces sovereign debt burdens and reduces trade deficits. I'll bring in everything, my friends. I'll give you very comprehensive notes. Which of the following is, we discussed this in the past, money market. Which of the following are part of the organized sector in the Indian money market? Mutual funds, yes. Treasury bill market, government bill money, bond market. Commercial papers, basically, which are, raised by companies, basically. Chit funds, money lenders, no. A, B, C, which is it? One. It's organized. Unorganized is chit funds, money lenders, and all that stuff. So we are going to anyway discuss this. Which of the following is an implication of large inflow of foreign exchange? Again, when I discuss fiscal deficit, you'll be surprised how foreign exchange is related to fiscal deficit, and give you notes on that. So the devaluation, foreign exchange, all related. Which one of the following are implications of large inflow of foreign exchange into the country? It makes monetary management difficult for RBI. Yes, kind of. It leads to inflation. Yes, it does lead to inflation. It weakens the competitiveness of Indian exports. It does weaken. And does it increase? No, it weakens. So there are problems. There are problems when there is a lot of money that comes into, lot of foreign exchange that comes into the Indian market. So choice should be ABC. That's one. So remember, all these are related to fiscal deficit. Oh, we're done. I didn't know that. Anyway, guys, this is fun. I really thoroughly enjoyed this class because there's less of economics and more of other things. But we discussed economics because a lot of things are related to, related to the world of money. What we discussed was related to the world of money. But in this particular session, we kind of had greater focus on non-economic stuff, which is okay. Once in a while, we need to have that kind of a break because there's too much of economics going on, happening around us. So thanks for being here. Have a lot of fun. Stay curious, my friends. Thank you so much.